Hey everybody, welcome to a video. Today we're talking about Eli on Netflix. It's one of the new horror movies that was released. Just came out I think a couple weeks ago, if I'm not wrong. But I have my co-host slash wife, Victoria, here with me.
Hello.
Hi Victoria.
Hi.
Alright, so today we're talking about Eli. Like I said, this just came out a few weeks ago. Starring Charlie Shotwell, Lily Taylor, Sadie Sink, and was directed by Carrion Foy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it is what it is. So essentially what it is that it's about a boy who's going to this treatment facility because he has some kind of a disease that makes him sick to the outside world.
Bubble
Boy. Yeah, pretty much. It's Bubble Boy, but the horror version, which is, like I told you when we were watching it, I'm pretty sure that's how they pitched this movie. Bubble Boy, but horror version or something like that. But anyway, he goes to this facility to sort of be healed, but there's a massive twist that I don't think we saw coming.
I don't think most people saw coming.
It was definitely something that we weren't looking for at all, especially based on the trailers. It very much plays as kind of like a standard haunted house type of movie.
For sure, and I think it was kind of, I don't want to call it misleading, but it was very good
I would call it very misleading.
But it was very good at kind of masking where it was really going.
For sure.
Like, there wasn't any indication in
I had no
the
clue
trailer or in the poster that this was going to be what it ended up being. I think it's fair to say that we're going to be spoiling the film. So
yeah,
if you're looking for a spoiler-free video, this is not it.
Nope, it's not it.
So we are going to be talking about the twist at the end. So just
probably we'll be mainly talking about the twist at the end. So as you know, I'm a big fan of plot twists. It's probably one of my favorite things because, as you hate watching movies with me because I typically know the ending of the movie
for sure,
or guess it before it happens, you get pretty mad at me for that.
Yeah.
So this one, there was no way I was going to guess this from any standpoint whatsoever.
Honestly, there's been only a handful of films that we've seen together that have really surprised you.
Very true.
Towards the end.
Yep.
And even then, you can still guess somewhat what's happening. You might just be off
the little
by
details.
a little bit. But this movie just threw a curveball at us that we did not see coming whatsoever. And it wasn't the type of plot twist that you're like, oh my god, yes, mess with my brain. Like, this is amazing. It was a plot twist that you're like, what just happened? Like,
it's not one of those twists that like completely, like if you were to rewatch it, like you completely see it in a different light because it just takes such a sharp left turn that you don't even, you're like, what is happening right now? There was a solid like 2 or 3 minutes during that turn where I was completely lost.
Yeah, I think a fair comparison would be, for example, Netflix's The Haunting of Hill House, where you have clues as to what's going to happen towards the end throughout the movie, throughout the show, but you don't actually put it together until you actually rewatch after the big reveal.
Sure.
Whereas this movie's just like, why? Why? I think that's the biggest question that people had towards the end. It wasn't even, this doesn't make any sense. It's, why would you throw something that seemed promising, if you ask me, and just kind of like, it just seemed kind of like a second thought to me. I don't know if you agree with that.
No, I agree with that. And we're probably going to get into more of that in just a few minutes. But let's first talk about some of the nitty-gritty stuff really quick. First, acting, directing, all that good stuff. For the most part, I thought it was okay. The biggest annoyance, I think, was the mom.
Yeah, she seemed kind of like
the mom was really weird. Yeah, she didn't fit into the whole narrative.
I think once you actually see the ending, you can kind of see why she was the way that she was.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of hard to tell why she was being so docile and like maybe weird throughout the film, but considering what happens, I think it's fair to say that she was being fair to her character.
Yeah.
I think overall, the saddest part about this whole fiasco is the movie actually had a pretty good cast. Like, it had Lily Taylor, who's basically a veteran in horror, and you have Sadie Sink, who's a kind of up and coming, but she was doing really well during Stranger Things, and I think there was the boy that's actually basically the protagonist of the film. He's actually really good too. Like, he does well with his character. The problem is in the cast, I don't think. I think if we are just isolating the cast itself, I think the cast was pretty good.
I would agree.
Yeah.
direction-wise, I think it was also pretty solid. I think it was just mainly coming down to the story of this movie, because everything else was pretty solid. It was just the story just, again, takes a sharp
if you're talking about other aspects, like the location, for example, or like the set, it was really well done. Like,
very well done.
Of course, you didn't have anything like that seemed cheap or out of place. Like the house or the facility where they were looked pretty legit. Like it all happens in the same house. Like the entire film happens in the same house, but it was an interesting house. Like the concept of where he was being kept and stuff like that, and seeing kind of like the old house mixed in with like the medical equipment was kind of cool. That's why I thought a lot of people were kind of interested in the film until what happens.
Okay, so let's just stop beating around the bush, because I think we've hit most of what we need to hit. I think the main part of this video is going to be about that spoiler, so it's going to be happening right now. So if you have not seen Eli, make sure you pause the video and go watch it and come back, because it's about to get into some spoilery talk. All right, so the twist. Okay, so do you want to go ahead and reveal what it is? I mean,
sure. So basically, like Aaron mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is about a child who's supposed to have some sort of condition, disease that we don't really know. We all assume he has some sort of aversion to the world outside. Like he has, I don't want to call it an allergy.
It kind of makes it seem like an allergy, because like they're like, what do you think you're allergic to? He's like, the sun, the dust, whatever.
Yeah, like it seems like the outside world just makes him like he can't breathe. He gets like hives and rashes and stuff over his skin every time he kind of touches the outside world. But then we're trying to figure out what's happening. Basically, in the film, what we're watching is him getting treated for this condition by Lily Taylor's character, who's supposed to be a doctor. But the child basically continues to talk to Sadie's character, who Aaron and I basically thought was a ghost.
I was 100%
the entire time. Like
convinced
it was someone that only he was able to see, who gave him clues as to like, hey, you may not be as sick as you think. They don't have the intentions you think they have. They're not here to cure you. All the other people that have been treated. So we find out that there's been other kids that have been treated for the same condition, and she kind of reveals to him that they've all died. So the kid starts to kind of look through the house to see if he can find some clues, just to find out that basically he's not really sick. He has no allergies. He is the son of the devil.
Yeah, so essentially, like, the mom, like, prayed to God to have a son, or to have a kid, because she was having a lot of difficulty. That didn't work out, and God technically wasn't answering her prayers. So she decided to pray to Satan, which is always a good idea when you're in a bind.
Totally.
So she prayed to Satan, and she ends up getting pregnant. Ends up being the spawn of Satan. To add, I don't want to say insult to injury, but to add an even bigger twist on top of that, Sadie's character is also a child of the devil.
And all of the other children that were supposedly treated at this facility were also children of the devil.
And Lily Taylor's character is a doctor, but she's also a nun. Like, they're all nuns at this facility or whatever.
And the kid finds out because he finds a photo of Lily Taylor and all of the other nurses in the facility in their nun gowns.
I think they're called habits. Okay. Sorry, I'm not familiar with nuns.
Yeah. So
thank you, Sister Act 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Back in the habit.
I think we find out then that they're just trying to basically exorcise him. We don't really find out, and I don't know if this is something that bothered you as well, but we don't really find out what the actual procedure that we're going for was. Because you remember how they removed
I did a little bit of reading after the fact, and I guess it talks that what they were injecting him with was holy water. Which is why he was reacting so terribly with his system. They're essentially trying to flush out the demon, I guess, and demon spawn, whatever you want to call it, in order to make him well.
I feel like it just makes it all worse.
It does kind of make it worse, to be honest. But I don't know, like, I was kind of excited about it, kind of confused, and like, I don't really know.
I thought up until they started to go with the demon talk, I was all on board. I was like, this is really interesting. Like, where are we going with this? What's going to happen? Is he really sick? Is this like some, like, not, like, is he not really allergic to anything? I didn't know where it was going. That's the interesting
because they
part
present
of the
it to you as a ghost story for 85%, 90% of this movie.
Yeah, because mind you, I think it's worth mentioning that he does see ghosts.
Yeah, he does see ghosts.
So you're thinking that he's just looking at ghosts. God knows what the hell he was looking at. Demon
brothers
spirits?
and sisters, apparently.
But okay, I'm not even gonna get into that. But like, I feel like if they are the children of the devil, do they have souls? And is it their souls he's looking at? I have no idea. But it kind of seemed interesting that they would just take what to me seemed like a great idea and just completely throw it out the window and be like, okay, let's just go with exorcism.
I know, and like I was reading after we watched the movie too, that some people are really loving it, like this big twist. Other people hate it, so it's very divisive. But like some people are like, we just want a series now of like this weird family because the mom is the only one who lives, and the two kids, Sadie's character and the main kid. So they're the only one that live. So and they're like, oh, and at the end Sadie's like, oh, I can take you to meet Dad, which is aka the devil. So, good time there. And so, like, they all get in the car and just kind of, like, go off or whatever.
Are they going to make a matchup with Lucifer?
I hope not. But they, like, some people are, like, really advocating, like, make this a series, like, just to see, like, this weird kind of messed up family on the road to see, like, their dad and, like, how these demon spawns are, like, in the world type of thing. Which I think would kind of be fun in a way. I probably wouldn't watch it.
I think it depends on what light you take it in, because if you're trying to go with a comedy or something like that, it might be funny, but
because it wasn't presented as a comedy.
It wasn't presented as a comedy, so to me it seems kind of like what happened with Chucky, where it was kind of like Child's Play was supposed to be something that was supposed to be scary, and people found it so hilarious that they just kind of turned it into
now it's just a joke,
like a comedy thing. So if they are going to take it that way, maybe I'd be on board. But otherwise, I don't think I can be. Like, I love a good plot twist. It's one of my favorite things.
This one definitely had. I don't know if I could say it's a good plot twist, but it's a big plot twist.
Well, to me, a plot twist and a good plot twist are completely different things. If you just want to throw people a plot twist, that's really easy to do. But if you want to do a good one, that's when it gets a little tricky. And I think this film completely failed at that. I feel like there were so many other things it could have done with the story that they had. It was kind of like when you and I were talking about The Purge, back to the horror conversation. The Purge was a really good idea in and of itself, and then it was kind of like just
mediocre movie.
Yeah,
the first one.
It was not that great. So I think it's the
I don't know, but some of the sequels I liked. So I mean, for
sure, I think they kind of realized that they made a mistake with the first one, and that they had a good idea, and maybe making others in a different context might be better. So yeah, they definitely improved over time, but Eli was just one of those movies that is like, this is really great, and then they just ruin it. And I think that's what makes people mad. It's that you were invested. You were legitimately invested. Because if a movie's bad from the get-go, you're like, okay, this is garbage, like, whatever. But when it's good, and then they throw this type of shit at you, it's not that great.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look, it's not really boasting that well on the internet either. IMDb has like it a 5.8. It's really not being that well received. I mean, I guess, like I said, it's very divisive. Some people seem to like it, some people seem to hate it.
I mean, Twitter is filled with, this movie's garbage. But then again, it's what you said. There's a lot of people who seem to have liked it, but
I don't know. I think it could be a fun concept to go off of in the future, but I mean, it just depends on really how they portray
I'm very curious to see what Netflix is going to do with this. If they're going to roll with the idea, I would feel like it would be a great risk.
Eli 2 on the road again. I don't know. Devil's got a brand new bag.
I mean, God knows that horror movies are great at making sequels that make no sense whatsoever. But I do think that it would be a very big risk that I don't know Netflix would want to take.
I don't know. Netflix seems to be all about taking risks now that Disney Plus and Apple TV and like all these other things. Now that they're losing a lot of properties, maybe they can spawn out.
But they have also like done a lot of great work. So I don't think that they have a lack of actual content to make something so bad again.
I mean, I guess so, yeah. But really just depends. But I really don't know if there's really much else we can talk about. I mean, I think it's all based on this massive twist.
For sure. I think I would highly recommend you guys
It's definitely
watch
worth a watch, for sure.
Especially because I think it's always important to get your own opinion of things and not just go based off of what other people are saying, only because everybody has their own opinion and what we don't like, maybe you do. That being said, I think it's important to keep in mind.
That being said.
Insert Ryan Bergara in the video. I think it's important to keep in mind that it is not that great.
It's not, but it's going to be a fun...
And if you want to watch it just to see how this kind of develops, then for sure watch it, because you can see where people's frustration is going to come from. Because the cast is good, the set is good, everything is done well up until that point. And you can kind of see it coming too, because when the mom goes into that little dungeon area, and then there's like a cross, and then you're like, what's up with all the religion?
I told you in the beginning, though, like... I thought I heard them say something, the dad referencing about him not being his actual dad.
Yeah.
I don't remember, we only watched it the one time, so we never went back and confirmed this. But I could have swore there was a reference there. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe they did plant the seeds, and, demon seeds. But, sorry, maybe they did plant those seeds early on, and we just didn't really notice.
Yeah, but the fact that guy wasn't his dad doesn't necessarily immediately go, okay, so that's not your dad, so your dad must be the dad. Like, nobody's thinking like that, I don't think. Yeah. I think it was a little bit of a curveball to throw, because you did tell me, like, yeah, but he did reference something about not being his dad, and I was like, okay, so that's interesting. Let's see where this is going. I feel like maybe the dad was into a cult or something. That would have been a little more interesting, or I feel like that would have made more sense. But then when we started seeing all the religion kind of like references, and I'm like, what's with all the Jesus stuff? And then, not because there's anything wrong with that, just because I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. And
then we saw a picture of them as a nun, and I'm like, oh my God, are they going to say this is a demon baby? Like, and then they did. I'm like, what the fuck? This didn't make any sense. So.
But I think it was kind of also interesting how he was a spawn of Satan, but like not in like a Damon way, or Damien, whatever his name is, Damien kind of way, or like a Rosemary's Baby, like straight out of the gate evil. Like he kind of like developed over time, and it wasn't until he found out this big secret that he really even became truly evil.
But I feel like that was another thing that didn't really delve into.
Yeah, that's right.
Is how was he contained for so long? She did say something about medication.
Because I think they were medicating him, but like he was allergic to the outside world because of his evilness or whatever.
But he wasn't.
But I don't know.
Because remember when he went outside and he found out he wasn't actually allergic to anything? So maybe it was just like a conditioning thing. They conditioned him to feel like if he were to go outside that he would get this rashes or whatever. So
I don't know. But I don't know.
It's
definitely
make a wish.
No, stop. Please stop. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all of our thoughts on Eli. I mean,
yeah, I still highly recommend go and watch it.
Sure,
create your own opinion about it, but absolutely. I think it'll give you more of an understanding. If you guys disagree, please feel free to leave a comment. But
yes, always leave your comments down below. We want to hear your thoughts on Eli. Make sure we make your voices heard.
Yes, please
on my super small channel.
Spam him. Go ahead and
spam me. I got nothing else to do. But yeah, other than that, those are really all of our thoughts on Eli. Like we said, make sure to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you have or have not seen it, did you like it? Did you not like it? Stuff like that. Other than that, do you have anything else?
No.
No? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, or I guess in this case, listening. Hopefully we'll get to do another one of these in the future. This was our quote-unquote Halloween special, even though I didn't say that in the beginning. Surprise, it's a Halloween special. So we're posting this on Halloween. But hopefully next Halloween we'll be able to do something else, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions in the future on other things.
Yeah, we're planning on putting something together for next Halloween, trying to kind of continue on the holiday specials. So
holiday special discussions.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much, Victoria, for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching / listening, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Bye.